So the first thing that you said was that before everything else, the first words to come out of your mouth was that you do not speak for the black community. So why don't you do us a favor and don't? It's your boy Vinnie-Dangerous with the first episode of Dangerous Minds, the new year, the new decade, and I'm here to respond to Loni Love. Stay tuned after the intro. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Vinnie-Dangerous, and I'm back with the first episode of the new decade of Dangerous Minds. Welcome to everybody that supported me the last decade. If you're returning, thank you very much for following me into the year 2020. And if you're new to the channel, you're new to Dangerous Minds, please subscribe to the channel, leave a like and a comment on this video, and make sure that y'all stay tuned with new episodes coming to you every other Tuesday. Now, let's talk about this Loni Love situation. I put a poll up on @Dangerous Minds YouTube. Make sure y'all follow that on Instagram. And I basically asked, because originally this episode was supposed to be about Lizzo, and we can still get into that, but this whole Loni Love situation happened. Her comments on the reel basically saying that black men with wealth and power are incapable of being faithful in their marriages and their relationships, right? And, you know, from the poll, it was pretty split, but it seemed like a lot of people really wanted me to talk about this. So that's what I'm about to talk about today. So to recap, you know, just so I can catch everybody up, because I don't really watch the reel. This clip of what she said was circulating, but for the most part, I don't pay attention to that shit. But to recap for anybody else that are like me that don't pay attention to the show, she was responding to Joe Budden, who was also responding to this Kevin Hart documentary, right? And in the documentary, talking about the infidelity scandal where he cheated on his wife and was blackmailed for it. And he basically gave a reason why he did what he did. Basically, he was moving funny. He didn't have the right people around him. His circle of influence was all wrong, and he was moving funny. And he didn't have the right people around him to tap him on the shoulder and tell him that, you know, this ain't a good look. You shouldn't be doing that. You have a wife at home. Joe, on his podcast, Joe Budden, in response to that, by basically also saying that, yeah, that's a factor, but also the fact that he's busy, he's barely home, he's always on the road, he's only at the house maybe 10 seconds out of the day on average, and that could also be a contributing factor to why he cheated. Now, before I get into the whole Loni Love situation, I just want to address that, because I don't want this video to come off as me making excuses for men that cheat. Because basically, if you cheated because you wanted to cheat. So what Joe and what Kevin said, I don't agree with. You cheated because you wanted to cheat. You cheated because you wanted to, and you felt like you could get away with it, and you didn't. You got caught up, and now you have to apologize. You have to first say sorry, then to prove that you were sorry, you have to change your behavior and make sure that this isn't something that is a continuous thing if you really want to save your relationship and save your marriage. So you being busy, you being on the road all the time, the people around you not really having your best interest at heart, none of that is a real factor. None of that is a real excuse. You cheated because you wanted to cheat. End of story. The reason isn't important. The fact that you have to be remorseful and the fact that you have to do the work and change your behavior is what's important. So, getting that out of the way, in response to Joe Budden and Kevin Hart on the reel, Loni basically said that black men with power, black men with money and fame, or whatever you want to equate it to, when they get to that position, they are incapable of being faithful. They are unable to be faithful to their wives, faithful to their marriages and their families when they get to that point. And to double down on it with a, agreeable nod from Amanda Seales, who I'm not a fan of, well, I'm also not a fan of, excuse me. And I may get into that later. Make sure y'all comment if y'all want me to go into deeper detail about why I'm not a fan of Amanda Seales. But, you know, with her in agreement, they double down on the reason why black men are incapable of being faithful in our relationships, in our marriages, because of slavery, because of welfare reform, and basically saying we can't get right because that's embedded in our DNA because of the things that have happened to us in our history. First, there's many things that's wrong with that. First of all, the fact that black was put into it. I said it in many conversations that I've had with people leading up to me doing this episode, is that the problem isn't the fact that she said that men cheat, because men do cheat. It's not just men. But to be completely honest, I'm not here to make that argument. I'm not here to say black men don't cheat. People cheat. It happens, right? Like I said, with Kevin Hart and Joe, there's no other reason other than the fact that they wanted to. They felt like they could get away with it. They were smelling themselves, and they got caught up, and now they have to either do better or just let shit fall to the wayside. So if she would have said that men cheat, it wouldn't be a problem. It's the fact that you singled out black men that I have an issue with it. Like, when you say it like that, you're basically saying that white men, Latino men, Asian men, whoever, Eskimos, male penguins, no matter what, like everybody else of the male species is capable of being faithful, is capable of having successful relationships and marriages without infidelity, but black men are the only exception to that. And to equate that to our, you know, history in this country of slavery, of welfare, which I want to know what the statistics are that shows that any of these things are a connecting factor to infidelity amongst black men. I want to know where these studies came from. You know, Adrienne on the show, she actually made a lot of sense. It's machismo, and you see it in other cultures. So I feel like you had a opportunity to correct yourself, and you doubled down with non-factual, basically just racist, stereotypical bullshit that is portrayed in the media, portrayed in movies and television, that has no factual backing whatsoever, to double down on a point that was stupid and unfounded, just to contribute to a conversation that you obviously do not have the knowledge to be, you know, commenting on. Basically, you know, just the fact, and I know a lot of people talk about it, and let me just make something perfectly clear. I don't have a problem with a black woman dating a white man. Just like I don't have a problem with interracial marriages and dating whatsoever, but you have a white husband at home. You basically disqualified yourself from this conversation, just like black men that choose to date other races of women and do not have a white wife or girlfriend or whatever. You are disqualified from this conversation. This conversation is to be had amongst the women or men that date black men, you know? Like, this conversation does not concern you. And to get on national syndicated television and to attack, and this is an attack, to attack black men while you are married to that white man, it's just a bad look. I don't care what your intentions are. I'm not saying that you hate black men, but that comment, and then knowing who you lay up with after the show wraps up, is a bad look. Because it felt like we were being attacked by one of our own. We were being attacked by a black woman on national television just to get a point across that really, what else could it have been other than you trying to attack our ability to be loving, faithful husbands in our marriages? or just being able to hold a relationship without chasing the next skirt that's coming down the street. These same comments you're making were started by the same people that look like your husband, that led to this slavery that you spoke about, that led to the unfair, racially biased welfare reforms that you talked about. So you making that comment and still equating it to a fault of a black man, then acknowledging that even if this shit was true, was a contributing factor by outside sources that have, contributed to the mindset of our inability to be faithful, and still not acknowledge that is all the way fucked up. And that's why I do not like it. So, and then just the fact that the real is crap, to be completely honest. I don't know who hurt you, Lonnie, and I apologize on behalf of the black men that have hurt you to get you to that point where you gave up on dating black men and married a white man that you with. I don't know who hurt you to get you to the point where you got up on TV and made the comments that you made, but don't attack black men on the real anymore. The show is already a vapid waste of television space. The only time that this show even shows up in my consciousness, I don't watch this shit and I don't pay attention to it. I forget it exists until I get a video or hear about a comment that is made by somebody on that show, whether it's you, Jeannie, soon to be Amanda Seals, Tamara, whoever else. Everybody has said some controversial bullshit, and I really feel like the bottom line, the reason why you made this comment, the reason why you threw out this very negative, dangerous type of comment that has no factual backing whatsoever is just to create ratings, to create attention, to get people talking about this stupid ass show. And unfortunately, because I am making this video, it worked. It worked because now people like me and a bunch of other people on YouTube and on radio and on social media and other media outlets are talking about what you said, and it's bringing attention to this god-awful show, this low-rent, less credible knockoff of The View. And the only reason why The View has even an ounce more credibility than the bullshit that y'all put up on TV is because at least they are retired from having successful careers. How a lot of the people on The Real are just flash in the pans, either one hit, 15 minutes of fame, or barely made it in their field of choice, and are now trying to cling on to relevancy by spewing more bullshit like the comment that you made. I wish y'all nothing but the best, but here's some advice, Lonnie. The first thing you said before you went on this bumbling, unintelligent, spew of bullshit that you decided to say on TV, the first thing you said was that you do not speak for the black community. And on behalf of the black community, especially black men in this community, why don't you do us a favor and you continue to not speak for us? You do not speak for the black community, and because of who you were with, because of your history, and because of the show that you decide to speak on, how about you just keep black men's name out your mouth from now on? Because overall, anybody that is agreeing with Loni Love is probably somebody that really has a small sample size to go by. I challenge you right now, anybody that agrees with what Loni Love says, I want you to look at your circle of friends. I want you, because anybody that agrees with her is usually, another black woman or another person, white woman, man, whatever your preference is, right? You have a history of dating black men. That's why you agree with Lonnie's comment. I want you to look at your circle. I want you to look at the people that you interact with on a personal basis, right? Look around. Majority of them are probably just like you. And they also only exclusively date black men, or have at least a majority history of dating black men. And if all of them say that they've been cheated on and you've been cheated on, then yeah, you would think that all black men, or black men, are the only ones out here cheating, right? How many people do you know personally that have dated white men, Asian men, Latin men, or any other nationality out here, right? Ask, how many people do you know that have dated other races? At least a large quantity of them is in their dating history. And how many of them do you know personally enough to where you can ask them, have you ever been cheated on by that white man, by that Latino man, by that Asian man? How many of you actually have people close enough to where you can make that assumption that it's only black men out here? Because most people can tell you. I mean, hell, we have a president in the history of this country by the name of Bill Clinton that was impeached partly due to the fact that he cheated on his wife. So to say that we have a president now that, amongst other things, has been very open about how he maneuvers when it comes to different women while being married to his first lady. So that alone should tell you, and there's plenty of other examples. If you just want to keep it at celebrity, since we're talking about Kevin Hart, there's plenty more examples of unfaithful white men and men of other races that you could point to in our history. So to say that it's only black men out here cheating is BS. Because there's plenty of examples I could point to you that is contrary to the fact and against other men that you completely ignore when you make comments like that. And I know that men do the same thing too. You know, they say all women, there's plenty of black dudes that date white women that make these stupid comments about black women. And they are not exempt. They are disqualified from that conversation too. Just like Loni Love is disqualified from the conversation when it comes to black men. So I will acknowledge that. But just talking about this situation specifically, I want you to ask. I want you to look at your circle of influence. Ask the people around you that don't date black men and ask them about if they've been cheated on or not. And I'll promise you, if you even have people in your circle that you are comfortable enough to ask that question, you'll be surprised by the result. But that's all I gotta say. So, fuck the real, the knockoff view. Like I said, it's nothing but a vapid waste of airtime that they put on television just to be controversial for the sake of controversy. But this has been your boy Vinnie-Dangerous. Tune in not next week, but the week after. You know what I mean. Every other Tuesday. Tune in to another episode of Dangerous Minds. Subscribe to the channel. Follow the Instagram page. And until next time, much love.